Good evening, everyone. Hi, it's Carla, the Cosmic Crone, and we are here in the dark with the Divine Feminine Astrology reading, this chart right here. The full moon is tomorrow morning at 10:49 a.m. on Halloween, Samhain, for many of us. October 31st at 10:49 a.m. Eastern Time, where I live. And I have been immersed in this chart and a lot of charts over the next 9 months because I've been making a study of Black Moon Lilith in Taurus. And it's remarkable, as all of these readings are, all of these charts. So, the moon is out there. The moon is rising. Mars is nearby. It was cloudy last night for their beautiful conjunction. So right now, you can't see Black Moon Lilith. And the main reason you can't see her is that she's not an object. She is a mathematical point. She defines a place where the moon, it's something about the moon's orbit. And I could bend my mind around the science, but it has to do with the moon being in an ellipse around the earth. It's not a circle, it's an kind of slightly oval. And so there's an average of when the moon is close to the earth and when the moon is far away from the earth and where those points cross. And that becomes Black Moon Lilith. And it's rather amazing that astrology would pay attention to something that is mathematical only, that does not exist except as a solution to a formula. But it makes sense because Black Moon Lilith, hi Margie, Black Moon Lilith represents the great void of creation. She represents something that is almost lost to our memory, certainly our conscious memory. It is something that we remember only in the deepest spaces, the deepest recess of our humanity. When we first began to realize that we have a consciousness, Black Moon Lilith was there. The first divinities that we honored were the feminine, the goddess, because she represented the bringing of life and death. And so Black Moon Lilith represents that earliest form when we understood that creation came out of nothing. And I don't even know that we understood it. We observed it, we sensed it, we knew somehow that creation came out of nothing and came through a portal into form. And that form, that portal, was the feminine body, the womb. And so that is Black Moon Lilith, and we know her through our wombs. Now, this reading is about the full moon in Taurus. However, at this moment, as I'm speaking to you, and for the next couple of hours, the moon, the almost full moon, is conjunct Black Moon Lilith. When you look at the moon over the next couple of hours, if you live where you can see it now, you're looking at Black Moon Lilith. She's right there. And that's how we know her. We know her by seeing her reflected in creation. Something I learned early on in my exploration of the goddess as I explored the divine feminine and divine masculine, I recognized that really, truly, no matter the religion, no matter the idea of who the supreme being is, if you ask God to show his face to you, he will show you the goddess, because he loves her and because all things are manifest through her. That is Black Moon Lilith. Now, Black Moon Lilith, in terms of her meaning for us as human beings, has many more nuances, but we'll leave this one right here because it's the one that we want to understand first. Why is Black Moon Lilith important, and why is it kind of miraculous that I'm doing this reading right at the moment where the moon is conjunct Black Moon Lilith? I'm going to be talking about Black Moon Lilith in Taurus and all the aspects she's going to make for the next 9 months, because it's very important. And there are a lot of aspects. And one reason that it's so important, first of all, she's in Venus's territory. Venus is the ruler of Taurus. So when Black Moon Lilith enters Taurus, she is taking on Venus attributes, or as I like to say, she is reclaiming them because they are hers. She and Venus are, of course, aspects of the great goddess, the Queen of Heaven, and the dark goddess who has been relegated to the shadows. In many ways, I think you could say that Black Moon Lilith created Venus. She preceded Venus. So Venus, Black Moon Lilith is going through Venus territory. The other really important aspect that is blowing my mind when I realized it, and that gives me the opportunity to talk about the Grand Earth Trine. This Black Moon Lilith plus the full moon over the next 12 hours until it's full is going to hold down one angle of a Grand Earth Trine. That means Earth is in a flow, and the interesting thing about Earth being in flow is that it is grounded, it's solid, it's like a pyramid. It holds us to the center, and it also stores energy. The pyramid were the tombs and the divinities, and they also represented the womb. So who do we have in this Grand Earth Trine? We have Black Moon Lilith and the full moon. And then we have Vesta in Virgo. Vesta entered Virgo. I worked on this all night last night when I had insomnia. Now, do I have notes in front of me? No. So let's just say that last week, 22nd, 23rd of October, Black Moon Lilith changed signs into Taurus, and Vesta changed signs into Virgo. 2 earth signs, 2 signs for the element earth, and Vesta is the priestess, the high priestess, our inner priestess. She lives in our wombs. She tends the sacred flame. She is in our inner temple. And Vesta in Virgo, Virgo is the sign of the priestess. So Vesta is at home in Virgo. You could make a case that she's a ruler of Virgo, along with Mercury. And what's fascinating, 24 hours apart, less than 24 hours in time apart, these 2 entities change signs. They're going to be in their respective signs for 9 months. And in July 18th and 19th in 2021, they both change signs again. Black Moon Lilith will move into Gemini, and Vesta will move from Virgo into Libra. That is pretty incredible. And when I see coincidences like that, first off, I don't believe in them. But when I see resonance is the word I'm looking for, I know that this is meaningful. This is a message to all of us from the cosmos. The energies represented by these goddess archetypes and the signs are telling human beings something that we must pay attention to, something that is a resource for us. It is not, I don't believe it's a warning, but it is saying, you're going to need this. Listen up. We're here to help you. Listen up. And I don't believe it's any coincidence that the whole world is at this moment of crisis with the pandemic. We're coming on to close to a year since the first inkling that this thing called coronavirus existed, showing up first, as far as we know, in China. And 9 months from now, a lot will have happened. We will have learned more about the virus. Our society will have changed more. Our society will be somewhere on the spectrum of integrating and rebelling against what this pandemic is requiring of us collectively. And of course, we will all be influenced one way or the other individually. And I think it is not outside the scientific realm of possibility that there may be a reliable vaccine by then. And I know vaccination as an overall topic is controversial, and yet it may be the game changer that we need to be able to live with this new organism that is among us. So I'll let you have your opinions about vaccines. I have mine. That's not what we're talking about right now. I am highly conservative when it comes to vaccines. I think we're doing way too much of it. However, I'm keeping an open mind as far as coronavirus vaccine is concerned, simply as a matter of public health. There, I've said it. But I won't be first in line. I can tell you that right now. Okay, there you go. So 9 months. The point is 9 months is a long time. 9 months is a gestation period. So when these two planets, these 2 points, Black Moon Lilith and Vesta, move into their new signs, into air, they're going to be basically in a flow to each other. They're going to be back and forth. Vesta, Black Moon Lilith does not retrograde. It's always going forward. And Vesta will retrograde in Virgo, which she actually retrograded in Taurus last year. So, pretty interesting. So those are 2 parts of a grand Earth trine, and that grand trine will be active between these 2 for the next 9 months. And then there's another Lilith over in Capricorn. Lilith and Hecate right now. The crone at the crossroads and the disowned feminine inside each of us, our personal Lilith, the one inside of you that hurts when you touch her, that hurts when you try to repress her, that makes you feel that perhaps you're not as good as a man, that you were taught makes you less than. The feminine wound. That is the asteroid Lilith. And she's an incredibly powerful part of us. She shows up only as a wound because she is disowned. We spend a lot of energy trying to repress her, trying to be good, trying to not let her out, because that's what we were taught was the right way to be and the way to stay safe. And patriarchy keeps encouraging us. In a way, this repressed Lilith asteroid is the part of us that does patriarchy's work inside of us. It keeps us It keeps us being good girls. And of course, the incredible thing when you look at Lilith, and I will be talking much more about Lilith, and I have in the past, so you can find, if you're on my newsletter list, you got a newsletter about this with a lot of links to some of my Lilith material. This Lilith is with the crone at the crossroads. And this crone at the crossroads, Hecate is a shamanic priestess type of figure because she walks between the worlds. She carries people, she accompanies people on their journey between the above world, the ordinary reality, and the below world, the land of death. And she's not really the keeper of death, I don't think. She does not accompany the dead. She accompanies those who are journeying, like Persephone, the ones who are on their initiation descent. Because the intention when Hecate sorry, let me breathe, I'm kind of excited. The intention when Hecate is following you or accompanying you into the underworld is that she will bring you back. So it is not the death of your journey at the end of the road. It is the death to your old self, the transformative death of, I am going into the underworld to meet the darkness, face the darkness, and integrate it and come back, because there is more work for me to do here. So these two are together with the priestess, with the great goddess. And that may indicate that right now, while the veils are thin, this extraordinary Samhuinn blue moon, I'm not even that interested that it's a blue moon. That's a kind of a calendar thing. It's much more significant when there are multiple such new moons or full moons in a sign rather than a month. But this Scorpio, sun in Scorpio, that is the sign of death and transformation. That is a Plutonian sign, and the moon is opposite in the Venusian sign. So these two, they are really more than probably any other sun-moon opposition, i.e. full moon. These two are holding opposite space. So that full moon portal is open, and it is a time, and it's Samhain. It is the cross quarter time. The cross quarter is basically for the next week. We had our big celebration last week, and we did it last week for various reasons. One is Halloween and mothers and children, but also the weather was right. And this week we've had a COVID spike in my state, and I don't know if we hadn't already done it, if people would have felt good coming out. So we're being very respectful of this new visitor to our planet, this coronavirus. So we did it last week. We opened the portal, and then this week is the time, October 31st, November 1st, when it is traditionally celebrated. And mathematically, it happens, I think this year it might be on November 7th. I didn't exactly look, but so it means it's the cross quarter. It's when the sun is halfway between equinox and solstice. And these in-between places, my Native American teacher, Grandfather Joseph, he did not teach us about the astrological wheel of the year, but he talked about the importance of the ordinal points, the northeast, southeast, southwest, and northwest. In fact, he talked about how they would call in his people that he knew, his ancestors, would call in the ordinal points, because the cardinal points were so sacred that you moved off of them and call the energy in there. So it was all important. And this is the change. In the Northern Hemisphere, this is when we open up to the mystery, the dark time, the starving time, the time when the sun is barely with us and it's cold. And the light is continuing to disappear. It is the dying time of the sun. And so we honor that. We honor the ancestors. We honor those who have shown us the way to die. And once again, we have Hecate here showing us the way into initiation, into the underworld. So this full moon, it is not nothing that we are having a full moon at Samhain. So very important, magical, powerful. Use it. Light a candle, light a fire if you live where you can do that. If you've got a wood stove or a fireplace, maybe that's a good way for you to connect with the fire. And if you have a drum or a rattle, or even your voice, to sing, dance, and move, to get out of your words and into your sound and your body, and allow the dream to move through you. That's what you want to do during this full moon. Because it's a full moon, you may have the opportunity to be with people. Because it's a pandemic, you may not be with people. You may be solo or in a very small group by yourself. Whatever works for you. Wherever you find yourself, tune in and listen. Listen to your ancestors. Communicate with your ancestors. Who are your ancestors? Your grandmothers, your grandfathers, your parents, if they've already passed, your great-grandmothers, your great-grandfathers. It might be aunties and uncles that have gone on before. For some of us, it's our children. Anyone who has already passed has joined the ancestors. Grandfather Joseph used to teach us that the angels are ancestors. When his people are talking about the ancestors, they're talking about the same energies that others use when they're talking about angels. Any divinity, any guide, protector, loved one, anyone, it could be ancestors so far back you don't know them anymore. But your ancestors know you. They absolutely know you. And on a night like tonight and tomorrow night, and for this next week, you can get to know them. You can expand your idea of who your ancestors are and what they have come to teach you. What do they want you to know about life, about you, about your medicine, about magic? I even can consider the archetypes, the goddesses and other beings that are represented in the astrology chart as ancestors. They come alive for us when we work with the oracle. And anything that comes alive for us symbolically, who works through us, who teaches us something by revelation and association, has the power of an ancestor. So Vesta, Black Moon Lilith, the moon, the sun, Hecate, asteroid Lilith. These are all ancestors. What else is going on? There's a couple of other aspects I want to mention, because everything that happens during one of these major new moon or full moon portals is important. And hi, Beatrice. Thank you. Hi, Anna. Thank you. Let's see. Where was I? Oh, yes. Tomorrow at 10:49, the full moon is going to be exactly conjunct Uranus and another way far out point beyond Pluto called Albion. And this matters. It totally fits with what we've been talking about, because Uranus is epiphany, spiritual truth coming like a flash of lightning, a blaze of light, thunder. It's many other things as well. It can be events, coincidences, things you don't see coming, things coming out of the blue, expanded consciousness, spiritual. Also, I mean, things like anything that's sudden good luck or sudden bad luck. That can all be Uranus. But we're going to focus, because all of those things, that good or bad luck, can also be the conduit for the epiphany, the spiritual awakening, the shift of consciousness. And so this full moon is conjunct Uranus, and Uranus, the great shifter, has been traveling in a very long conjunction with Albion. Albion is the thresholder. Albion walks with you, literally holds open the door and says, there's the door. And the doors, what are the doors? Birth. When you are giving birth or when you are born, those are two birth conduits, thresholds. The other one is death. When you are dying yourself or when you are supporting or grieving someone who is dying, you are in the midst of death. And then the middle portal, the portal that happens while we are alive over and over again, is orgasm. Our sexuality, that shift of consciousness, that is orgasmic energy. Orgasmic energy is basically an expansion of consciousness. And we associate it most often with our sexuality. And our sexuality was designed so that we can have that expansion of consciousness. And it is also a gateway through which the new humans come, the new life comes in. But for the people involved, for ourselves as individuals, whether or not a conception is happening, we are awakening. We are expanding our consciousness. We can shift when we use it consciously. So I recommend that you have an orgasm, that you connect to that power, that link between birth and death, that is your sexuality and your orgasmic energy. So use that as a part of your full moon celebration, and you don't need a partner to do it. So those are all opposite the sun. The sun is hanging out there in Scorpio, sex, death, transformation, money, wherever you need. It's a good time for sex magic, by the way. Because any of those Scorpio issues are illuminated by the sun and by the face of the full moon looking back at the sun. And now, Taurus is also good for that, because Taurus is home. Taurus is Venus land. Taurus is the boudoir. Taurus is the garden, the place of beauty and sensuality and pleasure, and a touch of security. Beautiful stuff. Oh my gosh, what a moon this is. I love it. Oh, and another aspect. We've got an opposition. Venus is in Libra. Venus likes Libra. She, she might even be a ruler of Libra. I've gone and forgotten. I believe she is. I think Venus also rules Libra as well as Taurus. Venus is the goddess of love and relationship, of pleasure, sensuality, sexuality, abundance, creativity, all of these second chakra things that live in our wombs and our sexuality. And she right now is in a conjunction with Magdalena, feminine Christ consciousness, another priestess figure. And so, and this is very beautiful, because where Lilith is a dark goddess and you cannot take the darkness away from her, it is who she is, regardless of how she's showing up in your world. Venus is the queen of heaven, the goddess of light, the evening star and the morning star, and Mary Magdalene is the consort of Christ's consciousness. She is the priestess. She is associated as a human being with Mother Mary, and therefore Isis. She was, well, people say a lot of things about her, but the fact that she was a teacher of wisdom, and very possibly a priestess herself of one of the goddesses that were still very much active and a part of the people's lives in the culture where she grew up. Was she even a Jewish woman? I don't even know. We don't know. I can tell you what she was not. She was not a prostitute, whore, or slut. Nor was she penitent. She was a holy one, a holy woman. And right now, she is conjunct Venus up in the sky. Opposite Chiron. Chiron, the healer and mentor. And both of these points are each square Hecate and Lilith in Capricorn. So think about what that means a moment. Chiron is stern. He's serious business. He says, rise to the occasion. Show up in your best work, in your best self. Stop doubting yourself. Believe in yourself. And let the power that is within you rise and move through you as you. And Venus says, I have everything you need in order for that to happen. And Magdalena says, if I can do it, you can. And so they are making that conjunction to that disowned feminine one. I'm sorry, it's not a conjunction, it's a square. To that disowned feminine one, that inner Lilith that represents the goddess that patriarchy is squashing within you. And Hecate, the one who is accompanying you on your initiation. Chiron as mentor and healer is also one who initiates. So they are emphasizing this opportunity to be initiated as you step through the veil of this Samhuinn blue moon. Lilith and Hecate are in Capricorn. A lot's been going on in Capricorn. Pluto is still there. There's still a five-way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, five-way conjunction between Pallas Athene, Jupiter, Pluto, Chariklo, and Saturn. That is a lot of work. I'm not even going to talk about them right now. We've talked about them before, but they are structure, government, institutions. Together you can see them as representing patriarchy, but you can also see them as representing the container of ceremony, the container of magic, the cauldron. Nothing happens without the container. And Capricorn itself, the institutions, the rules, the form, the law. We are all within the law. And the most important law is universal law and the law of love. So Capricorn is holding that law, as well as the laws of governments and institutions and regulations. In other words, Capricorn will set us free as well as hold us down. We get to choose. We get to use that energy. We are powerful within that energy, and everything about this chart is telling us that. So I leave you with that right now. Just remembering that we are at a portal of something that is going on for 9 solid months. And within this form, within this 9-month gestation of Lilith in Taurus and Vesta in Virgo, there's a whole lot more going to happen. So stay tuned. First off, I highly recommend you get your Divine Feminine Astrology reading with me, because I can help you see where those things are coming up for you personally in your chart. Big astrology, big changes. So do that. Book one of those readings with me. I'll put the link down below. And the other thing that, I forgot what the other thing is. I think I'm done. It's a pleasure to see you all here. I wish you a blessed Samhain. I wish you all the support that you need. I wish you the beauty and pleasure of this extraordinary full moon and black moon Lilith in Taurus. Much love to you.